Sounds great.
Maybe while we're waiting for any additional folks to join us, we can explain how we met, we being Sheryl, Ferlito, and I, who are the authors of Sortegories, met Xavier, who is the owner of Koala Go. And we happened to be at the International Dyslexia Association conference back in October in Columbus, Ohio. And Xavier walked up to our booth. We were exhibitors for Sortegories. And you have to know that Sheryl and I together are maybe 5'2", 5'3". And here is Xavier, who has got to be like 6'3". So we said, hello up there. And anyway, he expressed an interest in what in Sortegories because he could see it being a possible tool to use with Koala Go. So I don't know whether you are here because you know Koala Go or you know Sortegories, but today we're going to have the opportunity, Sheryl and I are going to have the opportunity to learn about Koala Go. Sheryl, would you want to add anything?
No, that's great. Just happy to be here and learning with you all. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely. So Xavier, I'd say go for it and let's learn about Koala Go. Go.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Happy to. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad to talk about Koala Go. I know that there are a few koala experts already in the group, so I want to make sure we're clear on the goal of this session. We actually already had a session with Nancy and Sheryl, who were invited to speak to the koala community, and it was recorded and it's live on our Facebook group. And in that session, Nancy and Sheryl, you had slides and you presented slides on how to use Sortegories. What is Sortegories? What are the foundation, the curriculum foundations of Sortegories, and then how to use it, how to go to the website, how to use the 9 different types of exercises. So that was the previous session, and there's a recording of that, I believe, on your YouTube channel. I think it's also on our Koala YouTube channel and on the Koala Facebook group.
And I'll
So
put
if you
it in
want,
the chat. I'll put it in the chat too. So
oh, perfect. Thank you so much. So if you
Uh-huh.
want to learn about Sortegories and how this tool can help you teach literacy during your online classes, I would refer you to that video. Today, we're going to talk about Koala Go and explain what Koala Go is and how you, if you're an online tutor, how you can use it to make your online classes much more engaging for your students. Does that sound good?
And I just want to add, since we're a small group, please feel free to ask some questions. We can kind of go in the direction that will be helpful to you. So please ask, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, David and Katie, if you have questions about the product because you don't know it too well, feel free. Stephanie, you're also a Koala user already, right?
No, I'm not.
You're not? Oh, okay, okay.
I'm not familiar with it. It came across my feed and I thought, well, this sounds interesting. So
Sounds
We're
good.
glad you're here. That's great.
thank you.
Yeah, and what's your story actually, Stephanie? Are you an online tutor today?
Well, I retired in May after 36 years.
Wow.
And I tutor students in person, but I have one who is inquiring about online tutoring, and I did it during COVID, wasn't a fan of it. So I'm
Yeah,
just kind of here exploring.
got it. Very good. Awesome. Amy, you're a Koala user. You know, yes, you already know everything about Koala. What about you, Robin and Coral? Do you know Koala? Do you know Sortigories? Do you know a little bit of both?
I just know I watched the Sortegories webinar, and I know nothing about koala.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And Robin, are you an online tutor today?
I do in-person tutoring. During COVID, though, I did the online tutoring.
Great. Cool. So yeah, so I'm sorry for those of you, Amy, David, Katie. I know you already know Koala, so it will be a little bit. I'm going to be talking about things that you already know today. It may get a little bit boring, but maybe you can jump in if I'm missing important things, and I'm sure it will be valuable for everyone.
I just like to
So
say one thing.
please,
You're going to love Koala Go. I
thank you.
tutor online, and all of my parents and my students, at first they go, I don't know about online, maybe in person. And I said, just give us a chance. And they absolutely love it. At first, I was a little scared that I was going to do something wrong, but I learned from the children. So I'll give it
Amazing.
a solid 10. Okay. And
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
I'm going to leave the group and go revisit some of the other videos about the Sortegories. Okay.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Perfect. So with this amazing introduction by Amy, I'm going to try to meet the bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you how to get started with Koala. If you've never used it, so maybe Robin, Coral, Stephanie, I encourage you to open on your computer, to open Google Chrome and to replicate what I'm doing. So by the end of this training, you'll be ready to start teaching online with Koala. All right, let me share my screen and let's get started. All right, so step one, we are going to go to the Koala website. The Koala website is teachwithkoala.com, and I will put it in the chat. That's the website, teachwithkoala.com. And when you go to the Koala website, you see this big button, Open Koala Go. So we're going to click on that. You may get a CAPTCHA. I know it's annoying, but I think we can do it. Please click on the object that is upside down. This dog. Not good enough. This one? Yes. So solve this complicated challenge. I think you should only have to do this once when you log out and not in the future, hopefully. And then you get this screen that says, welcome to Koala Go. And there's two ways for you to get in. The first way is to simply type your email here, click on continue. It will email you a code, type the code and you're in. Or if you're lazy like me, continue with Google, click here and choose the right Google account and you're in. All right, I'll give you a few seconds to get there. And yeah, and I see this comment from Katie. The best thing about Koala Go for me is the ability to teach on my iPad. Yeah. So Katie, you're a little bit of a unique teacher in that way. And originally we were asking teachers to please teach from their computers, but Katie pushed back and said, no, I want to teach from my iPad. So in the end, we actually added full support for teaching from your iPad with Katie. Do you have access to all the functionalities now when you teach from your iPad?
Pretty much.
Nice.
I think the only function that I don't have right now is the recording feature.
Oh, you don't have recording. Got it.
Yeah, but I think I'm pretty sure I have everything else.
Okay, nice.
Pretty
You're
sure.
able to move the whiteboard to the left and to the right on
Yeah, I
iPad?
can zoom in, zoom out
Nice.
with just the gestures using my fingers on the touch screen.
Nice.
So I can move it and do all of that.
Fantastic. Okay.
Mhm.
Recording, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are in Koala Go. It was that simple. You just logged in and you're in. What I encourage you to do is to bookmark this link. So click on the star here to bookmark this. So next time you don't even have to go through the Teach with Koala website in order to find that website. it'll be saved here. For me, I'm bookmarking it, KG for Koala Go. Click here and I'm in. So this is Koala Go. Koala Go at a high level has 3 building blocks. The first one is the whiteboard. The second one is the co-browser. And the third one is playground. And today we're going to talk about all 3. We'll thoroughly cover the whiteboard, meant to do this. The whiteboard, we'll thoroughly cover the co-browser, and we'll briefly talk about playground because there's a lot of features in playground. But we'll do an introduction to playground. All right. Question for those of you who have never used Koala. The other ones, please don't say anything. What button should I click to invite a student?
Yellow.
Yes, exactly. The invite student button in the top left. 1 point for Stephanie. So I'm going to click on the top left on invite student. And as soon as you do this, you'll have this window that will appear. And it says, share this link with your students, classroom.teachwithkoala.com/room equals something. So if you do this on your end, you're going to get a different room code. Every teacher has a different one. But this is my student invite link. This is important. You can save it somewhere. It never changes. You can just click here, copy it, save it, paste it somewhere else. It will never change. That's the same link that you will send to all of your students. I don't think it's the case, but if your students are in China, please check this box and it will give you a slightly different link which start with CN. Everything else in the link is the same, but this is better. It will be optimized for the connectivity in China. If your students are not in China, uncheck this box and use this link only. All right. I need a volunteer to be my student during this demonstration. Who wants to join?
I'll try. Oh,
Nancy is volunteering. Amazing.
oh, wait, no, David wants to go. Let's let David do it. I think.
All
this
right,
is best.
David. Sounds great. Sounds great. All right, David, I'm going to send you my link. I'm going to chat and paste it here. While we do this and while we wait for David, it's a little bit of a mess behind me here. So I'm going to blur my background. To blur my background, I'm going to go to devices here. And I'm going to go to video background options. And I can blur. I can even choose a picture, one of those pictures as a background if I want.
Okay.
All right. My student is here. It's teacher David is my student today, so I'm going to click on accept once I'm ready for him. If I'm not ready, I can just hide this, hide the notification, and then get ready. And then whenever I'm ready, bring my cursor in the bottom right and accept. Yeah, I agree. The blur background is a lifesaver. I agree. We don't have David's fantastic theater Oscar ceremony background. Welcome to my class, David. Great. So right now I muted David in Koala Go, and I muted myself as well, so we can talk over Zoom. But if we didn't have Zoom, you can just, in theory, I could just end the Zoom call, leave Zoom, and do audio and video just using Koala Go. I don't need Zoom anymore now that I'm in Koala Go. All right, I have a student. Now let's talk about the first building block, the whiteboard. So we are in whiteboard right now. Whiteboard is you can see it as an infinite piece of paper where I can write or add sticky notes or add text box or draw. and I can actually zoom out and zoom in using 2 fingers up on my trackpad. I zoom out, 2 fingers down, I zoom in. And when I do this, it's the same thing on David's side. He sees the same thing as me. And you can also move this piece of paper to the left or move it to the right by holding 2 fingers pressed on your whiteboard, and move to the right or move to the left, or even move up or move down. Let's say you zoom in too much, you zoom in, and you lose track of your content. You can always click on this magic button that says Fit View to Content. So don't worry if you're getting lost. Any questions so far? No? All good? If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. And welcome to the people who just arrived. All right, so let's talk first about those icons at the bottom. First of all, I have a cursor. So the cursor allows me to move things around, zoom in, zoom out, as we just showed. The second icon is drawing. Same thing, so you click on it, it's pretty intuitive, and it allows you to draw. Right now, I am using the vanishing pen. So the vanishing pen, when I draw with it, a couple seconds later, the line disappears. If you want a normal pen, just use this, and it will stay. And by the way, my student David can do the same thing. David can also draw on the whiteboard. Nice, gorgeous drawing as usual. And and you notice that, for. Yeah, exactly. And you see David's cursor is moving here. So I can see my cursor and I can see David's cursor. We're not fighting over the same cursor, so it allows me to keep track of what my student is doing. On the left, I can select the color. Right now I'm on blue, I can choose yellow. I can change the thickness of the line. A pro tip, if you want, is use Shift, hold Shift, and draw your line, and it draws a straight line. There we go. And of course, the eraser that allows me to erase everything. Next, the sticky note. So you click on this icon and then create stickies just like this. And finally, text box. So you click here and you type your text in here. And you know, if with my cursor, if I select hello, I can now change the color. I always have this contextual menu that shows up in the left if I select something. So if I select hello, I have a menu on the left, which allows me to change the color, to duplicate the text, to lock it. I can even add audio. I can add a sound and associate it with this so that every time my student clicks on it, the sound plays. And David has the same 4 icons at the bottom. By default, it's enabled, so David can play with it and add stickies as well, and drawings and text box, etc. Now, let's take a scenario where David is not behaving and is drawing all over the whiteboard.
He does that.
He tends to do that, especially when he's had too much sugar. So there we go. So he's drawing on the whiteboard, and how do you control this? So on Koala Go, it's always the same idea. You can always bring your cursor on the video of your students and then disable student interaction. And you click here and then it will disable it. So as soon as I do this, the 4 icons at the bottom are grayed out for David and he can't click anymore. And now we will want to remove those lines, and I'm going to click on undo for that. I could erase. I can click here on drawing and go to erase if I want, but it's even easier to click on undo. Undo, 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 done. So if you have younger students, this will be helpful. All right, next we have this icon in the bottom left that says upload files. If I click here, I can upload images, PowerPoints, PDFs. So you just open your Finder on Mac or Windows Explorer on Windows, just drag and drop your document and it will get added to the whiteboard. You can even just drag and drop images from your computer to the whiteboard. You don't even need to go through this menu and the image will appear. All right. So this is to add images. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, reposition this. You also have a chat system here. So we can use these chats to communicate if for some reason you can't hear each other. You can hear your students and your student can't hear you. And you also have a translation system if you're speaking a different language, which seems to be the case here because Xin Chao is not in my vocab, so I may need to turn on the translations here. I don't think Xin Chao belongs to any language, but I may be wrong. Does it? I love the chat feature, and so do my Chinese students who need the translation. Yes. So Katie, yeah. So Katie, you teach kids in China, so this is super helpful. If you teach kids in the US or students in the US in general, this is less helpful, of course. What does Xin Chao mean, David?
It's Vietnamese for hello.
Oh, nice.
I didn't put in the accents though, so it might not even know.
Yeah. But yeah, if it was properly spelled, it should translate. It will translate to the language of your browser. All right, I'm going to hide the chat, and now we're going to move to the top here, the top bar. You have a way to record. So you click on recording, start recording here, and then stop recording at the end, and it will save locally in your computer. We talked about this, the devices button, which is kind of a lifesaver. It allows you to make sure the proper camera is connected to Koala, the proper microphone, the proper speaker. So in 90% of, or let's say 80% of the situations when we hear that people are having trouble, usually this is the problem. The problem is that the student did not connect the proper microphone or proper speaker, and that's why they can't hear you or you can't hear them. You also have a way to set the video quality. If your Wi-Fi is a little bit on the weaker side, I would use reduced or very low, and I'm not going to talk about this. It's more advanced. All right. Any questions so far? Does this all make sense? If it makes sense, I'm going to move to the reward button. Reward, so the reason we built Koala Go is because we thought Zoom is great for adult to adult communication, but it's not ideal, especially if you work with kids. We wanted something that's more engaging, that's more fun. So the reward system, you'll find 4 options here: confetti, star, dice, and gem. Confetti throws confetti in the sky. And there's a special animation if you get at confetti number 5. As you can see. You have stars. So this is a way, to celebrate. And hey, here's a star for doing a great job. You have a die. And finally, gems. So gems are like stars, but better, because your students can actually do something with those gems, and I'll talk about that later. All right, we're almost done with whiteboard. So At the top of the screen here, I'd like to bring your attention to this part. You can see it says 1/1 and then 4 squares and a plus. So this is a way for me to add slides and then navigate through those slides. Let's say if you have many slides, you have slide 2, 3, 4. And it's getting hard to navigate and you want to jump from slide 1 to slide 4. You can click here on slides and you'll see the 4 slides here. You can even reorganize them if you want. So now the Sortegories here, it says Sortegories in the top right because that's the name of my activity. My Sortegories activity has 4 slides. And everything I do and everything David does here is automatically saved into the Sortegories activity. It auto saves, you don't have to worry about saving, you won't be losing this content. We encourage you to stay under 30 slides. And this is here, I'm talking to you, Katie, and to you, David, and to I don't know if Amy's still there, but the more advanced users, this is something that we've realized relatively recently, is that your activity may start slowing down if you have more than 30 slides. So please stay under 30 slides and it will load faster for your students. Once you reach 30 slides, you can simply create a new activity. How to create a new activity? You just click on the top here, on the top right. And here you have all your activities. And you can just create a new activity. So let's say this is going to be Sortegories part 2. And save. You save and immediately it will load. So right now I'm on Sortegories part 2. If you want to go back to the previous one, the Sortegories activity, type it in the top right. Here is Sortegories. Click and it opens. So you can just navigate from one activity to the other by just doing that. Let's say your activity library, you're like me, you're starting to have a lot of activities. So at that stage, you may want to start using groups and maybe group activities that are similar under the same group. So for instance, here, I'm going to create the Sortegories group. And for you, maybe that's not a good example. Maybe usually as a teacher, you'll have a group for with your student's name, Catherine, Ben, Donna, Paola, David, Dylan, right? But here in this example, I'm using Sortegories and I'm going to go to the top right and I'm going to add the Sortegories activity to the Sortegories group and the Sortegories part 2 into the Sortegories group. And actually, to make it less confusing, I'm going to rename this one Sortegories part 1. So Sortegories part 1 is the name of this activity, Sortegories part 2 is the name of this activity, and they are under the Sortegories group. So if you click on all, I see all my activities. If I click on Sortegories, I see the activities that are with Sortegories. And by the way, you can add more groups. Maybe you're using this activity for Dylan. You can also add this to the Dylan group. So we call it group. Maybe we should call it tags rather than groups, but the Sortegories part 1 is part of this group and this group. All right. And the last feature that I would like to talk to you about is this one. It's probably the most important one, especially if you're getting started. That's our 24/7 support. So we know that you're teaching online and sometimes there are tech issues happening. Sometimes the student has a bad connection or you have an issue, you don't know which browser to use. Like there's a million things that can happen. And that's why we have your back at any point of the day or night. There's somebody from my team that's on the other end of this, and you can say, hi, please come help me. And send a little panicked emoji. This one. Up, there we go. And there's somebody on the other end. We'll see how long it takes them to answer. It's also my way to make sure that everybody's working in the Koala team and not slacking off. This is I'm petting two birds with one hand here. So if the person on the other end is helping another teacher, they may not be able to jump in right away. But what would you say, David, Katie? Usually, how fast do people respond?
For me, it's typically pretty quick. I do have times when they do mention that they are talking to multiple teachers. So I understand that.
Yeah.
And there's also times when sometimes I'll tell them, okay, like here's the issue. Okay, you can email me later. I'm okay with that. If it's not like a issue where I need to know like right then and there,
Right.
I'll be like, I'll tell them, okay, deal with the other teachers that need you more. And just email me later.
That's very nice. What about you, David?
Usually less than 5 minutes, somebody is there.
Okay. Maybe when it's me sending a message, it takes a few seconds because they know it's me. Should not take 5 minutes, but anyways. So you see you have Danny here, who's helping you, and Danny's a real person. And if you need Danny to jump in your classroom to help you and give you training, you can just click on invite students, copy the link here, and paste the link here, and Danny can join. Okay, great. So take advantage of this. This is, I think it's very valuable. Would you agree, David, Katie? Like, is this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's super helpful.
Cool. Yeah. So this is something you should take advantage of. Where we got your back. Even if you need a training, if you have just a question, really use it. All right. You are now experts of the whiteboard. Congratulations. Let's move on to the next step, the co-browser. The co-browser is very popular among the Koala community. David, you know this stat because I mention it often. The Koala teachers spend 71% of their time using the co-browser.
Wow.
So let me show you why by clicking on this button, the co-browser icon here. Only you see this, the student does not see it. Only you, the teacher, decide when to open the co-browser and you click on this icon.
Sortegories.
Okay, so before we move to Sortegories, let me explain a little bit what the co-browser is. The co-browser is a browser in the cloud that both you and your students can interact with at the same time. So it's really great if the content that you use is on the web. Google Slides, YouTube, WordWall, Sortegories are a really great tool to use here in the co-browser. And let me show you why. So here, let's go to the Sortegories exercise here.
Level A.
First of all, you
categorize it.
My student can hear the sound and I can hear the sound as well.
Dogs or cats?
And here we can both interact with this screen. So I will let me make sure. Yes, it's enabled for David. So David, I'll let you choose if you prefer dogs or cats.
Meow.
Cats it is.
First, select the audio icons to listen to each category: animals, names, and neither. Then, drag the words that appear here to the correct category. At any time, you may move words from one category to another. When no more words appear, click Submit to check your answer. You can use this icon at the top to view an example, or use the glossary icon to see pictures and meanings for the words in this activity. For example, drag the first word to the correct category and drop it. Now do the same for the second word. At any time, you can move words from one category to another. Repeat until no more words appear. Click Submit to check your answer. Words in the correct category will appear in blue. Words in red are not in the correct category. Don't worry, you'll have a second try to get as many words correct as you can. Now it's your turn. Put each word in the correct category.
I didn't
David,
know
do you
there was
think-
going to be a test.
Yes, exactly. So you see here, David is doing this, he's controlling, but I'm going to do the next one if you don't mind, David. So I don't know if Cam is either. Yes. So I can control and David can control at the same time. We're not fighting over one same cursor. We both have our individual cursor. You can see teacher David's cursor here on my screen. So, and if your student is using, whether your student is using a tablet with a touchscreen or a computer or any device, they can drag and drop. Even a Chromebook, they can drag and drop using the touchscreen. So it's really interactive. And this is why, by the way, with Nancy and Sheryl, they talked about their product. I talked about my product at the International Dyslexia Association conference, and we realized that it was really meant to work together. This is a really fantastic tool backed by the science
Good
of
try.
reading.
Words in blue are in the
And
right
it works
category.
really well in the
Try
co-browser.
again with the words in red.
But am I the one who made the mistake? Cam?
Yeah.
Is Cam a name?
Yes, it has
Almost.
a capital
Oh, it's
letter, so it's a
capital.
Click
name.
Continue.
Capital.
And
All
you
right.
can also go up to the glossary in the corner and check out what it means.
Let's. So I
You have to hit,
continue and then
Here,
glossary.
all words are placed in their correct category. When you are ready, click Continue.
I'm going to sound like a sore loser, but who has a friend whose name is Cam?
I have heard that name,
I have heard it too. It's like short for Cameron or
Cameron.
I'm just pissed
Yeah.
right now. I'm just pissed. I did one word. This is supposed to be for children. I did one word. David did everything else. My one word, I got it wrong.
to be
Okay.
fair, especially since I teach Chinese children, I find it's harder for them to realize if it's a name. Especially if I ask them if it's a boy name or a girl name, they're like, oh, I don't know.
No.
Thank you for trying to make me feel slightly better. But I could have seen that it was a good uppercase letter as well. And thank you, Mim, also for explaining to me. Your son's name is Cameron. Nice. Okay, so but you get it, right? Like the teacher and the student can drag and drop, and you can open new tabs. The co-browser will remember your credentials. So if you go to Sortegories and you log into your Sortegories account, you don't have, and let's say you close your laptop and you come back tomorrow or next week for your next online class, it will remember your credentials. You should not have to log in again. So you'll save a lot of time. And you're only sharing here the content of this browser. You're not sharing your whole screen or, this is also a way to control what you're sharing. Ta-da.
Wonderful. You earned a ribbon.
So, and at the bottom of your screen here, you can see that you actually have access to the reward menu as well. So you can also celebrate with confettis. And you can even use the annotation tools that we showed in whiteboard by clicking here and then type text here. And have debates the contents, right? So use the annotation tool. Just keep in mind that if you use the annotations, you cannot click on things anymore, right? You need to disable the annotation by clicking on this down arrow, and then you can click again.
Click a pet to feed it. When you are done,
all right, and erase all like this. It's more, and I see Katie's comment, it's more advanced, but you can also group the tabs into categories if you're like me and use a lot of tabs. Yes. So Katie, I'm going to try to explain how to do this, but I think I may need your help. So you can group tabs, you right click here, and you say add tab to a new group.
Yes. And you name the group and make it a color.
So very similar to the activity groups, actually. I guess save group, okay. And then, sorry, I have the zoom menu in my way. And then
you choose one of them and put it under.
Yeah.
Add tab to
a new group?
Yeah, it should be that one.
Oh, it's already the group, sorry.
Then,
add tab to group and then Katie.
And there you go.
Very
click
cool. And then
continue.
And then
you click on Katie and yeah. Very cool. Nice. Fantastic. All right. So that's it for the co-browser. Any question about the co-browser?
Very cool. Love it.
Good.
Meow.
Excellent. So you're now expert of the co-browser. Before we move on to the last part of this training, the playground, because you are attending this live training session today, you actually can request a free month of Koala Go Pro. And by putting your name in this form. So this is a way for you to get 1 month of our paid plan or premium plan for free for 1 month. You won't need to swipe a credit card. The idea is just for you to give it a chance. For those of you who teach 1 or 2 students online, you can give it a try, and that way you decide if this is the right fit for you. So yeah, if you click on the link that I sent in the chat, put your name and email, and then we will activate your pro account within 24 hours. All right, last but not least, the playground. So the playground is something we built. It's something we built initially for children with dyslexia. We actually worked with many dyslexia interventionists, OG practitioners. So a lot of people from the structured literacy world. And I don't know if you've read the book, The Dyslexic Advantage, but it's been written by Dr. Brock and Fernet Heidi, and I read this book and it actually opened my eyes on the strength of kids with dyslexia. And it's a lot about 3D spatial thinking, multisensory learning, things that are really kinesthetic and the use of space and an engaging environment. And on top of that, we know that many of those kids with learning differences, whether it's dyslexia or the autism spectrum or ADHD, are kids that often have a trauma associated with a traditional classroom environment. So we said, hey, you know what? Learning should be fun. Let's build a world that decreases those kids' anxiety and also that capitalizes on the strength on their learning strength. So I see some comments in the chat. Yeah, Robin, I see that you're putting your email in the chat. Would you mind, if you want a free month of Pro, would you mind clicking on the link that I just sent in the chat right above your message, a couple comments above your message, and putting your name and email there, if you don't mind. It's amazing how Playground has changed since I started. When I started, it was a grass field. Yes, that's right. All right, enough talking. Let's open Playground. Let's see what it looks like.
Wow.
All right, so if I open Playground, what I see is two avatars falling from the sky under a parachute. And so let's start from the basics. I see an avatar with my name on top of it, Xavier, and then one that says Teacher David. You understood it. David and I both have our own avatars. And if you click somewhere, your avatar walks or runs in a direction. David, could you please meet me next to the snowman? Perfect. Nice. You can, so right now we are in top-down view. You have the camera looking down at your avatar. If you use your trackpad and swipe up with two fingers, you're zooming out. And if you swipe down with two fingers, you're zooming in towards yourself. All right, now maybe we can change our avatars. If you want to change your avatar, just click here on this icon. It says Customize Avatar. And this menu opens up, and you can change your skin tone, cheeks, lips, and change your eyes. Say if I want to change my hair color, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here. There we go. When you're done and when you're happy with your avatar, click on Done. And note that this is, once you change your avatar, the system will remember your avatar. So when you come back next time, it should give you your avatar again. Same thing for your students. And they will love that. They'll be able to customize their avatar and the system will remember it. I'm going to hide my dragon for now. Don't want to overwhelm you with this. And okay, Katie, you have students who like to tell you what to wear. Yes, that's fun. And I mean, if you're teaching foreign languages, I'm guessing this is a good opportunity to have, conversations that you wouldn't necessarily have in front of a, standard curriculum of English as a second language curriculum. Like, hey, do you like my glasses? What colors are my glasses? Long sleeves, short sleeves, sneakers, etc., etc. So it's really fun.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I use it for. I use the mixture of the whiteboard, the co-browser, and the playground. I usually give my kids like 5 minutes or so of like free play after their class, and during that free play, like we'll just kind of talk, and we'll talk about like the clothes, and some of my students will tell me, oh, I want you to wear the pink shirt, or I want you to wear the black shirt and the black skirt because I want you to be a witch. And so it really helps lower that level where they don't have to think too much. It's just fun, and they don't have to think about being perfect or being all right all the time. They can make mistakes and have fun, and just have fun in the playground.
Yeah. And and if you whether you teach English or whether you teach literacy, it's pretty empowering, I think, for to put yourself in a situation where, yes, you're maybe not a great video game player, but your students can teach you, because it's very likely that they're actually very comfortable in this kind of environments. So, and some teachers use Playground to teach, some playgrounds use Playground for brain breaks. David, what do you do? Are you in Playground 100% of your class, or?
Usually just a reward at the end for me.
Reward. Got it. Nice. Hey, what about you, Katie?
It depends on the students, because I do have some younger students that aren't like gamers, that aren't comfortable in the playground as like a gaming platform. And so they're like, 4 or 5 years old, and they're still not sure what to do. And so I use it as just kind of
The reward.
a brain break, and I kind of just let them figure out things and do whatever they want. And
Yeah.
of course, the first thing they do end up figuring out is how to drop Miss Katie into the water.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
of
know how
course.
they do that, but they that's the first thing they figure out. Must be something that kids, I don't know.
Here
Yeah.
you go. Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, so you can build holes under your friends and then they fall.
Oh,
And I was faster than David. So
you
Yeah.
got me that time.
Yeah, and I have a new
unfortunately,
student right now that's kind of annoyed at me because she thinks I'm keeping her from staying in the water because she parachutes back in. She's like, no, I want to stay in the water. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
nice. So, okay. So going back to this, if you click on the eye icon at the bottom, you toggle between two views. The first one is the top-down view that we've been using since the beginning. But if you click here, you now are in first-person view, meaning that you see the world through the eyes of your avatar, and you can move around, not by clicking anymore, but now by using the up, down, left, right arrow on your keyboard. Up arrow, move forward. Down arrow, you move backwards. Left, you turn left, and right, you turn right. So this is very similar to Minecraft, Roblox, and those games that your students probably play. Statistics, I think, showed that 80% of 9-year-olds in the US play Roblox today. So, and I see you can also use the arrow keys to move around. Yes, exactly. Use the arrow keys. And you can also use the space bar to jump. So, you know, it takes a little bit of practice. If you're not a big video gamer, go ahead and, you know, you'll get comfortable with a little bit of time. And we do, at Koala, we host a playground training about once every 3 weeks. So if you want, you can join that. I'm going to give you the link of our Facebook group. I'll put it in the chat. And next time we'll have a playground training. You will be informed in that group. The last couple of things I'd like to mention before we wrap it up. First of all, you see that it says Sortegories Part 1 here, because I'm still in the Sortegories Part 1 activity here. And everything David and I do in the playground of this activity will be saved in this activity. Okay, so you remember everything we did in whiteboard was automatically saved. Same thing here. Everything we do in the playground is also automatically saved into this activity. So this is the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing is that if you click on the top right, on those 3 lines, you can reset this playground. And you have a few different options. The playing grass field that Katie was mentioning earlier is available here. Summer classroom, winter classroom, farm, etc. So you can just choose something that you like. Let's say, for example, I want to choose the playing grass field and confirm, yes, reset. And it will reset the playground layout to the playing grass field, which looks like this. All right. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you. Thank you, Katie, for sharing the link to the webinars page. I've sent a lot of information. I hope this was helpful, especially for those who never used Koala in the past. I hope this was not too overwhelming. Stephanie, was it valuable for you?
Yeah, I think it looks exciting, fun.
Great.
Yeah. So when you talk about the free month,
Yeah.
since I haven't finalized this with a new student, does
Yeah.
it start from like today, or does it start from when I sign up? How does that work?
Yeah, it will start. So there's somebody from my team. Her name is Tammy, who will send you an email within the next 24 hours and say, hey, Stephanie, welcome to your free trial. Your free trial starts today. You can just reply to this message and say, hey, Tammy, because ideally you don't want your free trial to start right away. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah. Just tell that to Tammy and say, hey, Tammy, thank you so much for your email. Would you mind if we start my free trial on that date instead?
Okay.
And she'll probably say yes.
Okay.
And or you can say, and Xavier told me yesterday it was okay.
Okay. I'll do that. Thank you.
Sounds good. Cool, everyone. Nancy, Sheryl, do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to thank everybody for coming. We will send the recording along with a code for a Sortegories first month free in your email using this registration list. And we look forward to continuing this conversation with the Koala family. It's really exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank
It's
you,
fun.
David and Katie and everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Have a good
you.
rest of your day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.